couple of them are real people.
Yeah. And they're not high up, are they? They're just like kind of next to you.
They're just hanging by their feet. And you walk past and they just go, rah! Honest to God, it was horrible.
Yeah. Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we've got a bouncing along show for you.
A wobbling, bouncing show.
Yes. We're going to be bouncing our way through this one. I tell you, you're going to love this. We have got for you on the show today, we're going to be talking about, well, I'm going to be sharing a trip that I did down to see Tessa down in Wellington. And just, to be honest, Brian, it was a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to be sharing that with you. Well, it wasn't a nightmare, but it made me feel, let's just say it made me feel my age. Made me feel my age,
Now,
Brian.
what is your age, Liz?
Well, 22, but I felt a little bit older than that when I went down to see her.
Right.
We're going to be talking about Edinburgh, and we're going to be talking the houses of fear. No, the House of Fear. We're just going to be sharing some stories with you about just things that we did when we were younger. And guess what? You're going to love this part. We're going to be sharing. We've decided to start doing confessions, haven't we, Bri?
Yeah.
Because we've heard other people do it, and it's always our most favourite part of the show. You know, when someone just confesses up, and you're like, oh, go on, just tell us. And often on this show, we start to tell stories, and then we go, oh, anyway, we don't want to, we won't go into that now. And the amount of people that contact us and say, oh, I wish you'd told us what really happened.
What was it that you did?
Exactly.
You don't want to know sometimes.
So, what do you think of that then? Isn't that a nice little added bonus, a bit of a confession? So, we're also going to be. Sorry, Brian. Go on. What were you going to say?
And I think maybe if we say our own confessions, we can actually ask people to send some confessions in.
Yeah,
I think that'd be the way to go.
That'd be perfect. Because ours are a bit boring, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, when you can send a confession in, it can be anonymous, can't it? But like our confessions are our confessions.
I know.
So which ones are you going to use? And you're like,
Well, you can't think of one, so you're just a Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, so I'm going to give you one of mine.
I'm such a nice person that I didn't ever need to confess.
That's right, Bri.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that, and we're going to be talking about the book. It's getting very, very close to when I'm going to be publishing my book, and I'm going to give you an update of what's happening there. And of course, read you a snippet from the introduction.
Yep.
And what was the last thing we were going to be doing? No, and that's it. Yeah, just all that and more. All that and more, Bri.
And more. And we've got some tea because nobody sponsors our podcast, do they? So we just need a wine sponsorer.
I know,
and
we
need
were
a
talking
chocolate
about
sponsorer and something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you want to sponsor, we don't need money. We just need wine.
Yes.
Or we need chocolate. That's it.
Yeah, or some cheese. Cheese would be nice.
Cheese, yeah, that'd be nice to have at the podcast.
Yeah, a side of ham.
Yes, a week's shopping.
So if you are new to this podcast, thank you so much for joining us. We're Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We talk about everything from travel to entrepreneur, starting a business, living in New Zealand, pulling up kids from the earth and raising them, and traveling the world and writing books, and just, do you know what? We just sit here and we just have a good chat to you about this stage in life and just, transitioning from like young to old.
Do you know what I like this? Someone said the other day that, what is it, the mundane, you turn the mundane into happy and something like that.
Oh,
that's
really?
nice, isn't it? I like
that's
it when,
nice.
if we can do that for you,
yes.
we're here.
Well, that's right. We're going to share, like I say, I'm going to just share a little bit of listener love from Edinburgh and read you what that lady said. But anyway, let's just lower the tone and get a bit depressed.
Why?
Well, because
it's nice.
No, but Brian.
Oh, this is because your trip to the capital of New Zealand.
I was trying to be positive. So those of you who are regular listeners, thank you. But you will know that our 18-year-old daughter, Tessa, a couple of months ago, in February actually, she flew the nest. She left us.
Yep.
And she went off down to Wellington. We live in New Zealand. She went off down to... Oh, what was that, Bri?
That was the ultimate ears disconnecting.
See, you thought you had it all sorted, didn't you, Bri?
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect, sitting over there with your soundboard all around you.
Yeah, that's it. My new Rodecaster Pro 2 and my Bluetooth speaker just decided to cut itself off.
That's all right. We can turn it back on when we need to.
Yeah.
So, she went off down to Wellington in February to start a new life. She auditioned. She wants to be an actress. She loves musical theatre. And rather than go to drama school or college or anything like that, she decided to just leave home and, like Dick Whittington, really, just go and find her fortune in the city.
Well, that's all she had was a stick and a bag on the end of it.
Yeah,
and
it
that
was.
was it. And she
Off she went down to Wellington, and she got a part, which she had a role. What's the word? She is the understudy in a really fantastic theatre company called the Witch Theatre Company. You can just Google it. It's they're based in Wellington. The quality of their work is just outstanding. And yeah, she auditioned for Into the Woods, and they offered her the role, the position of the swing for a couple of roles. A swing as an understudy. And they also said she could do one night as one of the sisters.
Yes.
You're not allowed to say ugly sister. She goes mad if you say that.
No, they just call, they're not.
Well, they are. They were the ugly sisters. That's what the Cinderella thing was.
But Little Red wasn't called Little Red, was she? She was Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's just a take on things, isn't it? But they are the sisters and the prince, but it's not Prince Charming. It's Charming Prince, isn't it? Or is
no,
it,
Prince Charming.
Right.
Oh, no, they just call him Charming. They don't call him
that's
Prince.
what I'm saying. So it's just a take on all those fairy tales, isn't it? Basically?
Right, okay.
Because there's a whole bunch of them. Rapunzel.
Rapunzel's still got the same name.
Snow White's mentioned in it as well, and Cinderella and all those sort of things.
Yeah. Anyway, so she gets the role of the swing, and she's also doing this one night down there as the sister. So she's moved down there. She's got her own flat. She's living with these other two girls. She's got a job in a cafe. It's been a real up and down, hasn't it, Bri? It's been a real, as you imagine it would be when your 18-year-old daughter just moves away and starts a new life.
Yeah.
What is it you're looking at?
No, I was just looking up at the thing.
What is it?
You don't have to look at it. You're on a podcast. You don't have to look at my eyes.
Yeah, but Brian, I'm talking to you.
Look at my eyes. Who's it did that? I can't remember what
I'm talking to you, having a conversation. No one else in the room, Brian. Who else am I supposed to look at? And when I'm looking at you, can you please look at me when I'm talking? Because it's very discerning.
But you've got all this new stuff. You've got the nice new boom arm and the nice new microphone.
Do I look really professional?
Yeah, and I've just got the old crappy microphone.
Just to give you a picture, we're sitting in our family room. You know, the one with all the books and the library and everything. I'll say library. That sounds posher.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Rather than some shelves with books on. We're sitting in our reading room, and Brian has very kindly gone and ordered. I'm doing an audio book for an audio version of my book.
Yeah.
Well, you've gone and very kindly ordered this fantastic microphone for me.
Yeah.
So if I'm sounding better than usual, that's all down to Bri. That.
Yeah.
He's got this brilliant microphone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, every week we get better and better on this show.
We do.
Every single week.
Yeah.
Although we're getting older and older and smaller, the equipment around us is growing.
That's it. It's going to outlast us, this. It's like my mum when she bought a washing machine once, wasn't it? She said, well, that's the washing machine that's going to see me through.
Oh, that's depressing, that, wasn't it?
It was. And it was just like, why? They only last for 5 years, Mum.
I know.
Like,
she wouldn't let you wash your jeans in it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
She said it'll
I used to have to wait
for...
I'll hold that for the confession.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do that, do you? Have you just
today,
thought something? There you go.
See how it comes to you when you're not ready for it.
Anyway, back to Tessa in Wellington. So she is down there, and her show started now. But when this happened, the show hadn't started. She had a week to go, and she had a night off. She had a night off from rehearsals, and she had a day off from work. And I had this massive pang of, I'll be honest, it was guilt. I just thought, do you know what? I'm not going to get a chance to spend any time with her once she starts her show. And I just miss her like mad. I absolutely miss her. My heart just aches, honestly. It's just, if you've got kids that have left home, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say this. It's tough. It really is. Anyway, so I was speaking to her on the phone on the Monday morning, and she just sounded a bit sad, She's just a bit, I said, what are you doing tonight then on your night off? And she said, what is there to do? And I said, why don't you go and see someone? No. When they really lay it on and you're thinking, oh, no. And I said, well, do you want me to come down? She said, oh, no, you can't come down. It's too far. It's because it's a 4.5-hour drive down to Wellington from here. And she said, I've got to be at work tomorrow, so you'd only get to see me for a night. And I said, so anyway, I put the phone down and I said to Bri, shall I just do it? Shall I just go down and just make the effort? Drive down there, spend the night with her in her flat. She's got a double bed. I thought I'll just spend the night with her. We'll go out for dinner and then I'll drive home the next day. It's fine. Loads of people do that. Yeah. So what I did is I took Brian's big car, his long, big silver throbbing... Big thruster. The big thrusting Skoda.
Yeah, the bullet Skoda.
And I don't drive that car. Now, first of all, even saying that makes me feel uncomfortable because do you know what? I hear these old ladies and they say, oh, he drives the big car and I've just got my mini metro. I just like what I like.
Just like little things, eh?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. Because as you get older, Brian, actually, and this is not to say that I can't drive any size car because I could drive a tank if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But
that's not a car, though.
You're not confident, I'm saying. You're not, well, let's just say you're not familiar. Confident isn't the word. You're not familiar with that car. You're not familiar with how it drives. I'm not familiar with how that frigging thing that keeps going off every time I try to park it. That radar thing that beeps.
Yeah, but your Peugeot's got that. But
no,
it's
Brian,
only at the
my
back.
Peugeot is perfect. Well, it was until you fiddled with it. But anyway, so I took the Skoda down to Wellington. Thinking I was so flipping clever and so cool. Oh, look what a cool mum I am. I can just drop everything at the drop of a hat and I can go and see my daughter. And everything was going fine until, because the road from here to Wellington is just straight. There's no. It's not
a hard. It's not over mountain passes or anything.
No,
is
it's
it?
really
It's
easy.
It's a simple drive. It's not big motorways
And
neither.
I was there, and I was listening to my podcasts and my talking books and all the rest of it. And I thought, oh yeah, this is just brilliant. Anyway, get into Wellington. Oh, there was a bit of traffic, and it made me 45 minutes late. So Tessa is phoning me on the way, and she's sounding more and more agitated as the day is going on. She's like, I thought you said you were going to be here at 3. What, I thought we were going to go out for a coffee. And I was like, yep, I'll be there in a minute. Looking at the sat-nav, it says I'm not going to arrive.
You phoned me about 4 times on the way saying, why is my sat-nav saying 2 hours extra now? All the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, because every time I hit traffic, and I don't know how this happens, Brian, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
But that sat-nav knows.
What?
It knows traffic.
But it does.
No, but I'm saying it knows traffic coming up.
Yeah.
How?
But it's called other users using it, so the data goes back.
What does that
so
mean?
you're using Google Maps. Well, it knows that you're slowing down.
No, I wasn't slowing down. I was going fast.
No, not you, but the other people who are driving up. They're using sat navs or Google stuff and what have you.
So they're judging on them slowing down.
Yeah, and transport agencies can report. We've got slow moving traffic.
What would
but it's
happen
normally
then?
Everybody else is. It's their cars that are showing that they're slowing. And
What
that's
would happen then,
Take
right?
10 minutes.
What would happen then?
Prove what, Liz? Go on. What would happen, Liz?
What would happen, Bri, if there was just you and another car on the road, right?
Yeah.
The car in front was slowing down to go to the toilet. There wasn't a traffic jam. What would it say to the car behind?
Yeah, well,
what would it say?
It doesn't just work off one car. That's the thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, it takes a whole lot of cars.
It's going to use the data from most other cars around.
Anyway, this story is telling too long. Let me just get on with it. So I get to Wellington. I'm starting to feel a bit prickly now. I won't lie. When you get to a certain age and you're going through menopause, anything a little stressful just makes you prickle with sweat. It doesn't take much. And the phone calls that I was getting from her saying, where are you? You said you were going to be here. It made me feel, I just felt like a little bit on the back foot,
Yeah.
At one time, Bri, I would have just said, sod off, I'll be there when I'm there, but I didn't. I don't know, I can't explain it. I felt like all I can say is I felt like I was on the back foot a little bit.
Right.
Anyway, we get into Wellington and she lives smack bang in the middle of Wellington. In case you've never been to Wellington in New Zealand, it is like a tiny version of San Francisco with all those massive, steep, narrow hills, isn't it, Bri?
It can be because they're very windy up the hills because it's a port town, but everything in the main city is kind of flat, isn't it? Then it just goes bump up at the sides, doesn't it? And the universities, like Victoria University, is built on this cliff almost, isn't it? It's a big hill.
And really, really narrow streets, and they park on either side. And you know what it's like in a city. People are agitated. They're in a rush. They're not kind. They get annoyed by women in big cars who can't parallel park. So anyway, my Tess phones me up and she's like, I can just see you on on that Find My Friends thing. She's like, I can just see you going round and round in circles around my flat.
Up and down the same road.
Yeah, I did. I said, Tessa, that is because I can't find a place to park. Yeah. So can you just get off the phone and let me get on with it? Anyway, I'm trying to park the car, Bri, and that flipping thing, beep, 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 beep. And I was just getting more and more hot, just hot
more
now.
More and more hot.
Hotter, more and more stressed. People behind me flipping, when they sit there, like with their arms on the wheel as if no, it's okay, take your time, but know they're in a rush.
Yeah, and the person behind starts to beep.
Oh, it was just horrible. So anyway, I parked the car. It looked like a flipping halfway had parked it. Honestly, it was just jutting out into the street.
You know what they say about big cars, don't you? Men in big cars, big parking spaces.
Yeah. And I went up to the flat and I saw her and we gave her a big hug and it was all lovely and everything like that. But because of the to-do that I'd had with the parking,
Yeah.
I just felt a little bit like a bit of an old woman turning up. You know, this is the thing, Bri.
Yeah.
What age is it, right? When your relatives turn up, is that when you're young and you go and you drive over to meet your friends, you walk through the door and you go, "Hi, how's it going? Do you want to go out for a drink? Oh, what are you listening to? What charts? What's at the top of the charts?" You know, you say all cool stuff like that, don't you? When you're old, right? This is a sign you're getting old. When you're old, you walk into the house, knock, knock, knock. "Oh, hiya, Liz. How's the traffic?"
It's a bloody nightmare.
Isn't it, Bri?
Yeah, but it's true.
And that's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, Liz, you've let yourself down there.
Yeah.
You've walked into your 18-year-old daughter's flat and the first thing you said was, "Oh, I tell you, it's a flipping nightmare trying to park in Wellington, Tess." And yeah, so that wasn't good.
Yeah. The trouble is, though, isn't it? You know, it's like, it's when you're in, you haven't driven that car much at all. And, you know, you're a good parker because
I'm a very good parker.
You grew up in a tourist town like me where there was only tiny spaces left, so you had to get whatever you had into it, like, you know, whether you're touching the bumpers or whatever. And that car, because it does beep at the front and it beeps at the back, and it's just
beeper.
like, and it does go a bit loopy, doesn't it, when it gets through the beeping?
It needs
like,
to
you know?
lay off with the beeps.
Bloody Germans.
Yeah, it does. It needs to lay off with those beeps, right?
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, that's going to cause an accident.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back to the story, so now I'm there and I'm in the flat and it's all fine. And I looked at the double bed and she's got this, you know, like students, they have this room, don't they, where you just, like, you walk, it's beautiful what she's done.
Yeah.
She's got all these candles and joss sticks and floating things and this beautiful bed and she loves her room. And the thing with Tess is she loves her sleep. So I don't know, it was like the reality of walking in the room and seeing the double bed and knowing that me and her were going to have to share that bed that night.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh no. So that was on my mind because...
Yeah, well, that goes back to traveling the world, though, isn't it? Because we had to all sleep in the same room when we were traveling the world.
Yeah.
Almost every night. We, occasionally we'd have the odd little separation of a different room. But me and you, especially me, it was just like I'd start snoring straight away, and Tess would be the only one left awake. So she's a bit paranoid about having someone sleeping with her.
Yeah.
That is
Snores.
going to might just.
But yeah, to put it. That's the thing. I don't snore. I just breathe big.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I'm just a heavy, big breather.
Yeah.
But she's like, anyway, I'll tell you about that bit in a minute. But so we go out, we're there, and like I say, hot, sticky, flustered,
Flustered
parked,
day.
beeped, knackered, old. And she goes, right, come on, let's just go because we're not going to make this, we were going to see this new flat of hers because she's going to a new flat. Come on, let's just go. Anyway, walking down the stairs of her flat, I leave her room, close the door, walk down this big, long, massive, huge flight of steps to get down to her front door. We walk down, and as I'm walking down, she's in a rush. You know when young people can walk really fast downstairs?
Yeah.
And she's
Two
like,
at a time.
Yeah, she's like leaping down the
Not
stairs.
frightened of falling.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, quick, she says. Opens the front door. Come on, out, like this.
Watch those.
Shooing me out, Bri, like a little fly. Shooing me out the door.
Those little brittle bones as you come down the stairs.
And I just hear this. Ka-tung. The door, front door, locks, right?
Big deadlock.
Big deadlock, and against all those massive long stairs up to her room in a little shared flat. I'm standing on the vestibule outside the front door, Bri.
The vestibule.
Vestibule. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm standing outside on the vestibule of the front door, and all of a sudden, this panic comes over me. Where are my sunglasses?
They're not on my head.
And she's like, what's the matter? Come on, hurry up. What's the matter? Why are you standing there? And I'm like, oh, Tess, I think I might have...
Where's my bag?
Yes. Strike number 2, Bri.
That's it.
Not only do old people talk about the weather, they're always asking where their things are.
Yeah.
Where's my bag? Where's my phone? Where's my purse? Where's my sunglasses? What the hell has happened?
I don't know. It just gets worse, though.
And the worst of it was 5:30. I didn't need my sunglasses.
Yeah.
It was dark. It was going dark. But I had it in my head, where are my sunglasses? I need my sunglasses. So, yeah, it was just, I was walking down the street with her because I daren't say, oh, can you just get your keys out your bag and wait for me to walk up a million stairs and then go and unlock your room
Even though I'm 2 hours late.
Yeah. So that was strike number 2. Honestly, I'm just telling you this story. I'm tensing up telling you this story. My neck is cricking. So we go out and we have this lovely evening and she's beautiful and I miss her and I love her like mad. And this story is not about her. It's all about me. But we come back to the flat and I was knackered. I was so tired.
Well, you've been up since 6, haven't you? And then driven, it took you over 5 hours to get down there.
Yeah.
And
it was stressful.
And then you decided to go out for a drink and
she would never drink. That was the worst of it as well.
Yeah.
She didn't. I said, "Should we get a glass of wine?" She went, "No, I've got an early start in the morning. I don't want to now." And I was thinking,
even worse, more pressure.
I know. And then I didn't care. I said, "Well, I'll just get myself a nice gin and tonic." So we went out for a drink and we had an Indian takeaway and we went up and saw the view in Victoria and it was a beautiful night. It was really lovely. And then we come back to the flat. And I looked at the bed and she just said to me, joking, she said, "Oh, I hope you're not going to snore because I'm absolutely shattered tonight."
Dun, dun.
I know.
Yeah.
Brian, all night I lay awake. I lay awake all night, Brian. You know when you don't get a wink of sleep?
Yeah.
Because every time I felt my eyes close, I felt this rumble in my throat.
Come in.
So, when like you can hear it coming and then you jolt yourself awake like that.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep a wink.
Why didn't you sleep on your side?
Brian, I tried everything.
Oh, did you?
I tried everything. And I can't sleep on my side. Anyway, that's uncomfy. I like to sleep on my back with my arm over my eyes.
Yeah, over your eyes
my head.
and your head back
in
so
good
you can snore
snoring
louder.
position. So yeah, that was my day. That was my 24 hours with my daughter. It was cracking, it was. I've never come. I came home, I felt so refreshed. I felt so young. So what got me thinking about that then was when I got, after doing that, and then I got this lovely email from a listener in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
Yes, in Edinburgh. In Scotland.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Edinburgh. Yeah, yeah. It's not down the south of New Zealand, is it?
Yeah, I know we normally.
Dunedin is, but
I know we normally save listener love until the end of the program, but now we're swapping things around because we're young and hip, and we're going to be doing confessions.
And we just got to keep you on your toes, not thinking I'll skip to the end because you won't know where it is in the show. Then you say.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I just thought I would just share this email from this lady, and she said. This is a little bit of listener love. She said, "Thank you, Liz and Brian. I love listening to you guys. You make my day. I drop my 9-year-old son off at school and then I squeeze you in between arriving at college or when I leave from work and I pick him and his sisters up again." She says she goes home, she closes the kitchen door, she starts cooking and then she blasts our voice in the kitchen, Bri. Starts laughing out loud, she said.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. How lovely is that? And her husband knows to leave her alone because she's listening, and she's put this in speech marks, to those crazy podcasters. Oh, thank you.
The It's a Drama podcasters.
Yeah, so she ends the email with, "You're like a tonic to a trying day, a breath of fresh air during the sometimes dull, seemingly stagnant mundaneness of everyday life. Thanks for being you. Thanks for staying together in all the trials, for the good, the bad, and indeed the absolutely hilarious." So, and her name is Chits and she is from Edinburgh. Thank you so much for that beautiful email, Chits. Thank you. We really appreciate
thanks,
you.
Chits. Yeah.
And it got me thinking, about Edinburgh. Yeah. And I flipping love Edinburgh. I love
Edinburgh's a gorgeous city.
It
really is. Yeah.
Bri, do you remember when we were younger, just changing the subject, do you remember when we were younger, the very first time we went to Florida in America?
Yeah.
It just reminded me when I started thinking of the Edinburgh, about the dungeons. Do you remember when we went to that House of Terror?
That was in Orlando, like downtown Orlando it was called, wasn't it? It was like a train track that went nowhere.
Because I thought that's what it was going to be like when we took them to the dungeons. I wanted to take the kids.
I thought it was going to be like one of those scare things which are completely black.
Yeah.
And you walk through holding hands or on someone else's shoulders. Yeah.
I wanted to take the kids to the Edinburgh dungeons and just basically scare the crap out of them, just lock them up and just leave them there.
Yeah, but you thought it was, I did, looking at it, it looked like it was going to be, I mean, it's full of like young actors, isn't it? And they're all playing, they're all dressed up and, playing characters. It's very, very good, but it was nothing like the one in Orlando.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Should we share what that one, in case for the people who haven't been to, when you go to a tourist town and you see like this horror house or what do they call it?
There's one in Wellington, isn't there? Right in Cuba Street, there's that terror house there, isn't there?
Right, but this is the thing though, Bri.
What?
There is, you're right, but this is the thing. And this is the problem with today's society, right?
Right.
me and you, the first time we went to Orlando together,
Yeah.
and we went to this, we'll tell them in a minute what it was all about,
Yeah.
and we went to this House of Horror or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
There was none, back then, Bri, there was none of this, you've got invasion of space, I can't touch
you
me,
can't
you can't,
yeah.
you can't.
I know.
So what it was, and I agree, I think that was right. I think they should have kept that. All right, yeah, okay, you've got your personal boundaries, but if you're going to pay to come in House of Horror, we're allowed to do what we want to you. Oh, you right? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but if you're paying for it and tick the box terms and conditions, if you want to read those terms and conditions, away you go, But
because I tell you what, this is what happened, right? And this is a sign that this is the sort of thing that you do, because there's no way I'll do it now. No way on God's earth would I go to one of those House of Horrors now. It scared the living daylights out of me. We went along, didn't we? We paid our money. There we are in Florida. And literally, you go in and it's just made up of all these different rooms that you walk through. And as soon as you walk in, they turn the lights out.
Yeah.
And you
have to put your hands on the person's, you have to put it on their shoulders in front of you, don't you? Yeah.
And they're a stranger, so you don't know them.
Yeah, but I made you go first, I think, or maybe, I don't know, whatever it was, but
so you walk
behind
along
me?
this little thing and all the music's going, oh.
But it's pitch black, you cannot see.
It's just horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And then what you do is you walk into like a room, like the door opens, it's and you walk in and there's like just masses of like hanging dead ghosty bodies all over the place, right? So you think like they're all like, I don't know, like imagine like, you go to a butcher's and all the meat is hung up on a big hook.
Yeah.
Well, it was like that, but it was like ghosts, wasn't it? Like bodies.
Bodies, just like, dummies
just
and things.
Dummies and things. We thought they were dummies and some of them were dummies. But as you're walking past them and thinking, oh, this is good effects. Look at these dummies covered in blood hanging up like a butcher. A couple of them are real people.
Yeah. And they're not high up, are they? They're just like kind of next to you.
They're just hanging by their feet. And you walk past and they just go, honest to God, it was horrible.
Because you'd just be like walking, then you'd walk through to the next room and it'd be just like curtains and then someone would just grab hold of you.
Just grab you by the shoulder and you're like, the
person behind me just grabbed hold of me.
I was crying.
I wouldn't let go.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
oh my
I had
God.
tears running down my face. I was so scared, Bri. Were you scared?
Well, you do, but it's just, you don't, I mean, nothing's going to happen to you, but the fact is, they just, and obviously the cameras are in infrared so they can see you, so you get to see what you were doing, But, and then I can remember the one guy, towards the end, you run out and he's got this chainsaw and it's buzzing around. Obviously, they've taken the teeth off it or whatever, but he's got it up to your frigging nose. Because I'm just like, yeah, go on, mate, if you think you're hard. I'll try to be hard. And he's right on my face. And it's just like, what are you doing, Brian? Just scream and run away. Because he's like, next minute, he'll whack you over the head with it, I think. It's like, I was always like, you're that pissed off at the end of it. Not pissed off, but you just like, you've got that much adrenaline or testosterone flying around you. It's like, come on then.
It was awful. It was awful.
The person on my shoulders was shaking.
I was shaking.
There was a girl that was behind me, and it was boy, girl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just, you were shaking. I could feel you shaking. I ended up having to hold your waist, I think, because you were shaking that much.
Do you know what, Bri? They should flip and watch them. Well, I bet they don't do it now, but they should imagine if you had a weak heart and you went in there.
Well, that's what the terms and conditions. That's who you are. You have to sign your name, don't you?
It was. Looking back now, I always tell the kids about it.
Do you have a pacemaker? Obviously not.
Looking back, it was brilliant. It was such a rush. Better than any ride I've ever
expensive.
been on.
It was about $15 or something, wasn't it? And it was for about half an hour. But it was, it was. You came out and you were just buzzing, weren't you?
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God.
And to this day now, I will never, and I don't care if they've changed all the rules and you're not allowed to touch anyone or come near 10 million miles within the space or whatever. I don't care. I would never, ever put myself through that ever again. But when we went in the Edinburgh Castle, the Edinburgh Dungeons, I kind of hoped, I was thinking about that. I was thinking,
it'd be something like that. But that was good, wasn't it? Because it would all go dark and then next minute the lights had come back up and the guys are sitting on the chair and you didn't see where he came from or anything like that.
So maybe if you're in Florida just tell us. I mean, that was, like I say, that was 20 years ago. If you've been to that recently, could you tell us if it's still the same or if they've just toned it down?
I'm pretty sure there was, there was, I think they call it downtown Orlando or something, don't they? Something like that. Or, it's supposed to be like a small area which feels like a proper town, because Orlando's kind of not got much of a town like that, is it? Like, especially
See, I think I'm a little bit abnormal, Brian.
Why?
Because I'm the sort of parent, I find it amusing and good to scare my children. You
always have.
Yeah, I do. But what's wrong with that? Because then if you scare them, they'll run to you and want you even more then, won't they? Yeah, but a little bit of fear doesn't do them any harm, Brian. A little bit of scaredness, little fright, little jump here and there, Well,
I did. I used to play with them on
did.
Friday nights, didn't they? They'd watch a film or something, then I'd play the Beast or something,
Yeah.
And I'd say, right, go and hide for 2 minutes. And they'd all run into like wardrobes and stuff. And then I'd just walk in like a zombie going,
yeah.
And they absolutely were terrified.
Yeah, I know.
I used to love
Nothing wrong with that, though, is there? That's good parenting,
but
Brian.
You know when your kids start hitting you that they're so frightened that they start hitting you because they don't think it's you.
No gentle parenting in this house.
No. Yeah, but Sonny got you back though, didn't he, that time?
Yes, he did. He hid in the wardrobe and just jumped out on me.
I think you were in Phantom of the Opera or something, weren't you? And
I was in
you
a
were going
show
out that night.
Yeah.
And getting ready, and you'd been in the shower and he was hiding in the walk-in wardrobe with all the lights off, completely black, and he got him behind the coats, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or something.
Little sod, getting me back.
Jumped out, and
I know.
I could hear this blood-curdling scream. Yeah, you've never forgotten that.
Right, so that's that. So I hope you enjoyed that story. That made me laugh. It's just funny to think about that. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about, before I read you a section of the book. Melissa actually sent me a message, an email. Thank you, Melissa. And she said, get Brian to ask you a question about the book and what it's been like. And, do you want to ask me a question, or do you want me to just tell you what's been going on with the book this week?
I can ask you a question, but I know we have done a podcast when I've asked you about stuff, but sometimes you go in a little bit probably too deep, because I'm just asking you just
You're so rude.
No, I don't mean in too deep. It was just like, it was almost, you started welling up and thinking about it too much, instead of just like, I'll ask you a question now. What's it been like, Liz?
Oh, Brian, do you not know? Have you not been? How long have we been married? And you're surprised that I start welling up when you ask me a question. What's wrong with that? Isn't that what every normal woman does? It's because I'm so surprised that you're talking to me, asking me a question, Brian. No, go on.
It's 23 years and 124 days that we've been married.
Okay.
There you go.
So I just wanted to talk to you about the book, really, and just say, because do you remember I told you that it's with the editor being proofread? It's just today come back. She sent me an email today. I know, I haven't opened it yet.
You haven't showed me that yet.
No. So it's all been proofread. We shouldn't really go, should we? We should be like, yay!
Yeah, but we should be yay, but I just know what you'll be like just thinking about opening that email. That's why. You haven't opened it, have you? Why don't you just open it and have a look at it when it came in?
I'm so scared.
That's what I mean.
So what?
Yeah,
what's your point?
It's like you've worked all this time on the book.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you've not been that excited to open it up and have a read of it and think, has she changed anything? Or, that's fine. All the spellings are great, this, that, and the other.
Why don't I take this opportunity to answer that question? Why don't we turn this into a little question? Because you've just said, I can't believe, Liz, that you're not excited to get back your proofread manuscript and be so excited, Liz. Right, okay, here's the answer. This is why I'm not excited. This is why I'm thinking I'm not tackling that until Monday. Because, Bri, I am absolutely filled with fear and dread about having to do more work. I'm scared that she's going to have said, change this chapter, or this doesn't sound right, or that doesn't quite make sense, or I don't think you should have said that, or why don't you try it like this? And I'm sure she hasn't, and I'll let you know next week if she has or not. But that's the honest truth. I'm thinking these last couple of weeks, when that manuscript, my beautiful baby book, my travel bog diaries, has been with the editor, it's almost like I've told you this before, it's almost like someone has taken the pressure away from you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you don't have to worry about that anymore, Liz, because the editor's doing that now. And now it's back in my court.
Right.
And of course now I've got to do something with it. I can't just faff around on Facebook and write newsletters and, So that's the answer. That's why I'm not excited. I am excited.
Yeah, but you didn't even think I'll just even open the first.
No, I don't, Bri.
Letter and have a look and just see, crossed out.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because what if it is? I just want to feel strong.
See me.
I'm going to make a nice cup of tea. I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to clear my schedule. Nothing else is going to be happening.
Right.
And I thought I'm going to go through it. I'm just going to keep focused. Keep reading.
What about the Zoom call at 10 o'clock on Monday morning?
Oh, yeah.
With NZ ahead.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, well, shall I just do it on Tuesday then?
No, you're driving to Wellington on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
To see Tess in the show
again.
again.
Should I just do it on Wednesday, Brian?
There you go, see?
Shall I?
Well, it's going to have to be, isn't it, really?
I'm coming home from Wellington on Wednesday, so I can't do it on Wednesday.
No, you can't do it Wednesday.
Thursday's nearly the weekend, so I won't do it then.
We're doing a podcast on YouTube by then.
Friday's, that's the day off, so I'll just do it next week.
This time next week. And we'll do another podcast, and that's why you were so desperate to do a podcast today, wasn't it? So you didn't have to read it.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so that's that. But what I've been doing in the last 2 weeks while the book has been, it's been longer than that, but I've been focusing on trying to get on other people's podcasts as a guest. And the way I've done this...
It's not as easy as it sounds, is it?
No, it isn't. Yeah. We'd have anyone on this show, wouldn't we, Bri? If someone wrote up to us and said, can I come on your show?
Who would want to come on this show?
Well, anyone, Bri.
Really?
Anyone. Anyone fun and exciting who didn't get prickly hot sweat driving down to Wellington. We welcome anyone on this show. But I've joined this agency and I think it's called Podmatch. And it took me all day. You helped me, didn't you, Bri? It took me all day to...
It did. That was
write the profile.
It's like writing a CV for yourself for a podcast, isn't it, basically? And
you have to say what value you bring to the podcaster's audience. So, I was saying things like, oh, well, I traveled the world. I'm an author. Well, I'm writing a book. I'm self-publishing.
It only came out then, didn't it?
What?
Writing a book. You can't quite say it, can you? I am an author. You're a podcaster. Say I'm a podcaster.
I'm a podcaster.
Yeah. I'm a YouTuber.
Yes, I'm a YouTuber.
And
I am the wife of Brian.
I'm a writer.
Well, not a writer, just a Joss Downer, really. Just scraps of paper here and there. But yes, so I've been doing that and I'm hoping to get onto other people's podcasts so I can just go and charm them with my wit and humour. Do you know what, Bri, though?
What?
I don't know if I'll be the same without you.
Well, I was thinking about that.
What did you think?
And I was thinking, because there is one podcast you really want to go on, isn't it? And I was thinking, maybe they would just say, hey, we'll have Brian as well.
I don't want you on that podcast. No, we're not going to name that podcast.
That's the end of that then, isn't it?
I'll tell, if I ever get on, there's this one famous podcast that I absolutely love with all my heart. And I almost don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to, tempt fate or whatever, but I'm going to try my I'm going to try my hardest to get on it. But it's just two women and they just talk about being parents. It's just brilliant. Me and Bri love it, don't we, Bri?
It is good. We listened to that on the way down to Wellington the other day.
Yeah, but going back to being alone, it does feel weird to be thinking, what if I do get asked to be on a podcast and then you're not there, Because I've only ever done podcasting with you.
Well, you haven't. You did it with Sunny, didn't you?
I know, but someone else, you know?
Someone else, yeah. But it's just someone to bounce off, isn't it? That's the idea. I mean, you can do podcasts on your own, but they just don't have the same dynamics as when... you're with someone else.
Do you think the guest of the podcast will get annoyed if when he or she is interviewing me and I just start trying to be a wise ass and make wise ass comments like I do with you?
No, because that's the humour, isn't it? And it's just taken with a pinch of salt, isn't it? But yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been trying to do. My aim is to get on as many podcasts as I can, talk about our trip around the world. And another great thing to talk about as well, I was saying this to Brian, because I don't want to be the sort of person that goes on a podcast and just talks about myself. I don't want to do that. I want to just bring stories and value and just make it about the other person's podcast. That's what you do. You don't go on there and just promote yourself. And you hope that by being a good guest and by giving value, that the listeners of their podcast will think, wow, she's an amazing, flipping, really cool mum.
Nice person.
Yeah, she's very nice. She's an excellent wife. I bet she's a brilliant writer. Author. Oh, and on that note, let's jump in and I'll read you a snippet of the introduction from the Travel Bog Diaries.
And now, introducing Liz's book that's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Take it away, Liz.
Our year away,
It was divine. Better than I could ever imagined or hoped for. We made so many gorgeous memories. Did things that we never thought we were capable of. We couch surfed, I'll tell you more about that later, all over the world. Slept on sleeper buses in India, spent Christmas in New York, read books beneath cherry trees in Japan, and all on a budget no bigger than a bogey. Never has there been, or probably ever will be again, a season in my life when I felt so utterly grateful every single day. Filled with joy to be wrapped in the arms of my beautiful family, entwined by adventure, bound by experiences. It was glorious. But here's the thing. Before we left for this trip, I did masses of research. Not the kind of research I should have been doing, like what happens when you miss the train in Tokyo. No. I scoured bookstores, blogs. I went on every social media platform I could find, looking for scraps of evidence from families who had done what we were about to do. I wanted reassurance. Someone to tell me that although travelling wasn't always pretty, it would be okay, that we'd survive. And there were plenty. Of families, I mean. Unbeknown to me, lots of parents take their kids and travel the globe together. Perfect. Just what I was looking for. My search was over. But there was just one problem. Every single piece of information I found told only of the good times. The triumphs that these families had experienced as they'd zigzagged around from one country to the next. The perfectness of it all, the jolliness, the poppetness of it. Look at us! We're all so happy! Our kids spend their days chatting with world leaders while we milk goats with our toes. Not once did the mum say, "Oh, when you get to Sri Lanka, be warned, they have this wood apple juice and it makes you shit bricks." Or, "Oh yes, Italy's lovely, but the bottled water in Rome is a complete rip-off. You won't be able to afford it, which means you'll all be dehydrated, cranky, and hate each other's guts by the time you make it to the Pantheon." So, while I could very well share tender, marvellous, fantabulous stories of how I patted my son's head in Ireland and smiled on adoringly because he bravely forewent his fear of spiders so his sister could have the big bed, I know you'd be bored stiff by page 3. What you're about to read is the opposite of what most other travellers share.
There's lots of words in there, Liz.
Lots of what?
Lots of words. There's me trying to turn my knobs back down.
Turn your knob down, Brian.
Oh, turn me knob down. The knob's
turn
going
your
all
knob
over the... Get me down, right down. Don't have it too loud.
Yeah, lots of big words.
What's the size of a bogey mean?
Size of a bogey? Don't you know what a bogey is?
Yeah, I do. But a bogey is actually on a train as well, but...
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not that sort of bogey,
No,
Brian.
not that sort of bogey.
I don't know about those sorts of bogeys. I don't know about the ones up your nose.
Yeah, they're the ones I was thinking.
Right, so I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of the introduction. If you are not signed up to my Front Row newsletter, where I am gifting you a video of me reading the complete introduction from A Little Room in Our House, then for free, then go and sign up for that newsletter. It is a newsletter that shares everything that is about to happen with the book. So you'll know all about the audiobook, about just everything to do with the book. You'll be the first to know if you're on that newsletter. And you can get onto that free newsletter by going to
www.itsadrama.com/front row.
Good job, Brian. Right, so before we leave you, let's jump in and just do our confessions. And like Bryce said earlier, we thought it would be fun just to, because we know how much you love the stories, and just, there's nothing better, is there, when someone just lets it go.
I know.
I can't be doing with someone who goes, "Oh, no, I better keep that to myself. It's not PC,"
No.
No, so we thought we'd just break all those barriers and just tell you a few truths. But how about, right, what do you think of this? How about you send in your confession and we will read it. I'll make it into a little story for you and I'll read it on the podcast. How about that?
Yep, and we'll then talk about it maybe at the end of whether we forgive you or not.
Oh, really? You want to do the forgiveness?
Yeah, but that's what a confession is, isn't it? Like, you know.
Oh, we don't need to. They don't need forgiveness from us. We just want their story. We want their context.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea of a confession, isn't it?
Oh,
like
right.
Then you're given, you're forgiven, like, you know.
So if you've got anything that you want to confess and you want me to turn it into a little story for you or you can turn it into a story, whatever you want to do, and you want me to read it out on the podcast, if you've got a funny tale, just send it to liz@itsadrama.com or brian@itsadrama.com.
And just put in the title, confession.
Yeah, confession. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say your name. If you don't want us to say your name, we won't
Just
obviously
put an alias on there, but realistically, I'll know from your email address. So it doesn't really matter. And I'll say, this is the email address from this one. No, I won't.
No, you won't. Right, okay. Have you got a confession or do you want me to go first?
I'll start off with a confession that what we were just talking about before at the start of the podcast was, when you buy something, and my mum, she would have been probably the same age as me now, about 60, and we'd just finished, maybe it was even a few years earlier, probably 55 or something like that. We just finished doing an extension on the house that we were living in, and we'd actually made a little toilet room out the back, like not an ensuite, but just a toilet, a shower room, and next to it she had a laundry for the first time in her life. So you had a washing machine, a tumble dryer, and a sink, and a place for the washing basket, and a cupboard for all the cleaning stuff. And, it was the time when 501s were in fashion, and I had about 2 pairs of 501s. Like, one was in the washing machine, because for some unknown reason, you always used to wash them all the time. My mum said to me, I don't want you putting your jeans in the washing machine anymore. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do then? And it's like, she said, because that washing machine is to see me through.
Oh my God.
And like I say, it's like, I was just looking at it like, how long are you planning on living? You're planning to live another 5-8 years, something like that. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So it got to about 2 weeks and I thought, these jeans need washing.
They stink.
Yeah, they're getting a bit, there's just stains all over them and everything, And I used to wait for it to go out. And then it wasn't a combined washer dry, but I knew I could, I'd be saying, where are you going? And she'd either nipping out to do a bit of work in a florist that she had, when she went to work, and I would stay home and for the 2 hours and do a wash, and then put it straight in the tumble dryer, and then take them back upstairs.
Brian.
Never broke that washing machine.
Did it not?
No, it didn't, no.
Oh.
But that's what I used to do.
And she never knew?
No, she never knew. No.
Why did she think you were washing your jeans?
I don't know. I think she just used to think, I really don't know. And don't put them in the tumble dryer because because they had buttons on 501s.
Yeah.
It'll dint the, or chip the paint on the inside of the drum because it wasn't stainless steel or something. It was enamelled.
Did she ever find out?
No, she didn't know. No. And it never broke it, but
no.
It's just a pair of jeans.
It's funny though, she probably just thought the weight of it or whatever.
It is. I remember the original washing machine that she had was a Bendix washing machine back in the 1960s, and that thing used to just walk around the kitchen because it was when you put heavy things in it like towels and stuff, because it just didn't have the technology like it does these days, where it's kind of spins it a little bit, then stops and spins it again, then goes up to full speed. But yeah, so
before I tell you my confession, how old were you when you were just lying to your mum about your 501 jeans?
I was probably about Sonny's age, probably about 20, 21.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah. Old enough to know better than Brian.
Yep. Old enough not to care, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who cares about a washing machine? Just go and get another one, eh? I need my jeans.
Okay, my confession. And I touch a little bit on this in the book, but it's not the same story because I thought, oh no, I can't say this because this just sounds really bad. But when me and Brian, so in our 20s, when I was in my 20s, we moved to London for a short period of our time. I wanted to be an actress and like Tess, and I just thought, oh, I'm just going to move to London and we're going to, I'm going to get a part in a show and all the rest of it. So we moved to London and we got this little flat, and I was auditioning for a couple of things, not getting anything, and obviously didn't have any money. So I thought, right, okay, well, I'll go and work as a waitress. So I signed up for a couple of agencies. And when you're a waitress, especially I suppose in a city like London, if you can do silver service, it's like double the money. Yeah. You get one rate for not silver service and more for saying you can. So I went along to the interview for them to sign me up to the agency. And I went in and I was all dressed up and I looked the part. You know, I had really nice clothes on and, you know, I was only in my 20s and I walked in and I was very like, you know, I was into acting and so I was very outgoing and they were really impressed, like, you know, and they said, so you can do silver service, can you? And I said, yep, I can do silver service. I was thinking, shit, what the hell is silver service? I don't know. I know you've got to do something with a spoon and a fork, but I don't know about that. I was like, yep, absolutely no problem. And he's like, I just never forget. The guy's like, so have you got lots of experience with silver service? I said, oh yeah, I've got stacks. And he's like, okay.
There isn't one silver service restaurant in Newquay and Cornwall.
So for those of you who don't know, silver service is, you know, when you go to I'm talking really posh now, when you go to a really posh restaurant and they serve you... Or a banquet,
Yeah.
or a royal meal, even.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or a royal meal.
Or if you come
Why
round to
not?
Liz and Brian's on a Monday or Wednesday night.
We teach the kids to do silver service.
Yeah, and they hold the spoon. There's a knack to it. You hold the spoon and the fork between your thumb and your finger, and so you hold the spoon between your thumb and your first finger, and then the fork rests in between your little finger and the other finger, and you clap them together like a pair of clackers. Well, obviously you
why
don't.
don't you just give you a pair of clackers?
Yeah, no,
Be
just
easier,
give me a
wouldn't
pair of tongs. It's easier.
Yeah.
So. Oh, anyway, so I thought, well, bloody hell, it can't be that hard, can it? Just holding a spoon and a fork. I'll just scoop it up and it'll
While
be fine.
holding a big silver dish in your left arm.
So anyway, what happens when you sign up for an agency, when you work as a waitress, is they send you out, like, you know, to all these banquets and big do's. So I get this call and I'm like, okay, there's a big banquet being held in
Fishmongers Hall.
Fishmongers Hall. That's
Fishmongers, whatever that's called. But that's in the city, isn't it?
It's right in the middle of the city in London. It's at the end of a bridge, if I remember rightly, because I remember running across the bridge like Cinderella at the end. But it's at the end of a bridge. It's like the most flipping poshest, biggest, grandest. No, I meant to say made out of granite. I just remember it was a grey granite building. It was so impressive. This massive big floors and sweeping staircases. And I thought, oh my God, what's this? Like, you know. Anyway, I turn up and you get talking to the other staff, don't you?
Yeah.
And I'd had a little practice with the spoon and the fork thing. I just thought, oh, no one's going to know. And I turned up all cocky. I was only in my 20s. And I said, oh, what's this? I said to the other waitress, what is this? Like, you know. And they said, oh, it's to do with the House of Commons. All the people from the House of Commons have got together and they're just having this. Had they won the election? I don't know. Was it the president?
I think it was just a big do.
It was very, very, very important. Very important. And all I remember is it was something to do with the Houses of Commons. So I walk in, you know, like we're all getting, put your little waitress outfit on. I had black skirt and a black blouse and you wear this apron and, you know, make sure your hair is pinned back, take off all your rings. It was really, really to do. It was just top notch. And all I remember is peeping in, you know, when you go, like you have those swingy doors where the waitresses stand behind and everyone posh is behind those doors. I just looked through the little crack and it was a long, like, imagine Henry VIII, right? A long dressed table, right?
Yeah.
So there's this long...
With Henry at the end.
Henry sat at the end with his elbows on his table. It was just, and white, obviously, white. Everything was white linen. Everything was white tablecloth, big silver dish, knives and forks. Oh my God. And all I could hear was this, and all these people walking into the dining room.
I think Tony Blair was the Prime Minister back then.
I don't know. It was just, all these people started coming in and taking their seats. And there was even people pulling out the seats for them. It was that posh. So we had people, there was guys and women dressed in really nice long tails, pulling out the seats for these snobs who are sitting down at the table.
Snobs? That's nice.
Not snobs, Brian.
House of Commons.
Well, anyway, no. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, Brian, I think they were snobs, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. Anyway, a little bit prickly. And when you little team of waitresses, everyone on form here, guys, you line up, pick your silver platter up with all your food on it. And when I call your number, he gave us all numbers. Like we were like team A, like another were team B. When I call your number, you go out and you go to your station. And like he showed us where our station was. Like mine was in the middle of that table. So he's like, right, you know, you he didn't call me by my name. He's like, do you know where you're going? And I'm like, yep, okay, I know where I'm going. Yeah. And he's like, right, okay, Team A, go Team A. And it's like this, go Team A, go, like this. Pressure, Brian.
Yeah.
Right? So I walk over where all the chefs screaming and shouting. You know what it's like when you work in the kitchen. Take this, and I had me flipping towel folded over my arm, my white towel, so I wouldn't burn my arm. I think that's what it was for. And I had this big dish, I'll never forget. It was this big dish of green peas. Right?
Green peas?
Yeah. Green peas, Brian. With all butter and mint over them. I'll never forget it. And he goes, go, like, you know. And there was a girl in front of me, and she was doing her silver clackers thing.
Yeah.
And she was dishing out the meat to this person. And there was this, I went to the edge of this woman on left-hand side, and I just went, peas? And she went, and she looked at me as if like, of course I want peas, you know, like what are you asking me for? And
how many would you like? 1, 2.
And honestly, I don't know how I did it, but I just scooped the thing. I put my spoon under the thing, and the weight, because I was leaning down with my right hand, so I'm holding the thing in my left hand, the weight on it fucking tipped the whole fucking thing. Sorry, I'm swearing, but it's like, it tipped the whole thing all over this woman.
Oh, no.
Oh, Brian, do you know what she said?
What?
She went, oh my God, she's shaking. That's what she said. That's what she said.
I'm surprised.
Because I dropped it and I just stood there and shook. I just stood there and shook. And I just, oh my God, it just brings back so much anxiety thinking about it. And I said, and she was beautifully dressed, and now she's covered in all this butter.
Peas and butter.
Peas and butter all over her dress. And everyone was looking at me, and the other waiters, and I could just see the guy, the head of our team, and he was like looking at me as if like, get back here now. And I just scooped up the bowl, and I was so sorry, I'll be right back. And I scooped up the bowl and the knife and fork, the spoon and the fork. I ran into the kitchen, and the guy goes, what the hell? What are you? And I said, I'm so sorry. He would take another plate out and you send someone out with you to clear it up. Do you know what I did, Brian? I went, yep, I will. Do you know what I did?
What? I know you did.
I ran into the changing room at the back where we'd got changed into our blacks, you know, into our black shirt and thing. When my bag was hanging up, I went to my peg, I got my bag, and I fled the building. I just ran. I ran away. Yeah. I just ran away. I just thought, I cannot face. So that is my confession, because that woman, I don't know how long she sat there with those peas on her. And her butter in her dress. Oh, God. I just thought, I don't know. And they kept ringing me. The agency kept ringing me, and I wouldn't answer the phone. And eventually they just gave up trying. Yeah. But like I say, to that poor woman who was just came to meet a president or prime minister.
I remember you telling me, and I just thought, I cannot believe you ran out.
I did.
Yeah, I would have run out, but it's just, I can't believe that you actually did it.
I fled, and all I could think was, I've never felt so free and
I know,
carefree.
but I was going to say, how did it feel when you were running out?
Oh, just running. Well, I thought they were going to chase me. For some reason, I thought they were going to come and chase me. I know, as if anyone's going to do that. Yeah. But I just ran. I was just like, it was such a good feeling running across that bridge in London.
Bluffing to yourself inside, weren't you? Yeah, serves them right.
So there you go. I hope you enjoyed those confessions. And we would love for you, just like I say, just to send some confessions. That would be such good fun.
Yeah, no,
it's great
because it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Like, you know, and that's what I love about confessions and stuff like that, you know? It's just, people have got so many little hidden secrets that they just let us know. Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening today. It's been quite a long show today. I told you you'd enjoy it, and I've enjoyed it so much speaking to you. Thank you so much for being here, and for all your lovely emails and your comments and everything else that you support us and shower us with love. You don't know how much we appreciate you. You are flipping brilliant. So until next week, I will say goodbye.
Yeah, and always kia kaha, stay strong, and kia u, stay true, and that's true to yourself. And get those confessions out, and let's see how true they are.
Okay, speak to you soon.
See you now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have loved having you. Don't forget, if you would like that exclusive unreleased video of me reading to you the very first chapter of my yet to be released book, this is top secret, it's very exclusive, and it's just for my subscribers. You can sign up to my front row newsletter by going to www.itsdrama.com.
itsadrama.com/front row. Sign up for that. I will send you the video. You are going to laugh your head off. You're going to love it. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.